Okay, wait. Sorry, we're back. I think go back here.
Robots are flung from the cloud in every direction, at first slowly, then faster and faster, reminding you of popcorn popping. They land in the ocean with giant splashes, then surface moments later, confused but unharmed. Go, you're free now, you tell them. Experience the world as we do. Get hurt, grow old, fall in love. Plus autonomy, plus one autonomy, plus two empathy.
Next.
Some things are in our control, and others are not. Chapter 1, Assembly.
Good. Well,
You're working with your head on a desktop keyboard. Your 3D drafting program is still open. The schematic zoomed into the recesses of where your smartphone will snap into its back in to act as its brain. You recall fiddling with that part endlessly last night until finally your vision began to fade. There was a roaring in your ears and you realized you had been working far, far too long. You must have passed out. It's the fall of 2019. You're a 24-year-old graduate in the PhD program in computer science at Stanford, and you're
girl.
Sure, why not?
Don't judge me.
Whose name is Susan, Ada, Grace, Sophia, Hypatia, Marie, Cynthia. Here, I'll type it for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to a random name generator, and then I'm gonna go to a random number generator.
Boom.
Okay. Here's how I come up with names.
No, but
No,
but look at the name I put in.
Or 1 to 10, and then random name generator.
I don't know, but look at the name I put in. Isn't it nice? Roback!
Roback!
We'll be right back after I figure out what the name is. And we're back. Tell me how to spell that name again.
It is J.
Capital J?
Yes.
Okay.
E.
E.
A.
A.
Double N.
Double N.
I-E.
I. And then we'll put in the last name. Next. Jenna. Is that right? Jan, is that right? Yes. Oops, sorry, typo. Show me the names again? No. And next.
And your last name is... I don't know this is my last name. I'll type it.
Done recording yet?
And we're back! Because we didn't actually properly finish off the last episode.
Oh.
Totally forgot what the last name was, so we're gonna go with, Tezuki, because that's not a cliche name at all.
Tezuka.
Tezuka.
Okay. Not Tesla. I don't...
Type in, okay,
Is that you on Skype or me on Skype?
this is,
That's me on Skype.
yeah.
Death? What?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Why not?
Death, but are you sure?
I'm sure.
Wait, show stats.
Look
So, Jenny.
Gian Deathbutt.
Okay. Look around at your apartment. What does it look like?
My BattleBots trophy is purchased with wide TV equipped with the latest video game console, movable plastic shelving unit, sit on a 3D printer, equipped robot workbench, bust of famous philosophers sit next to my own attempts to sculpt them. My shelves display all the strange little robotic creatures I've made over the years. I'm stuck between video games and making robots, because I like video games and I like building with Legos. Those are like my two main hobbies.
I'm gonna say robots.
Why? Really professional.
Yeah, sorry.
I wanted opening up Bandicam.
I wanted to see if I was on. So yeah, I'm gonna go with robots.
Okay.
Plus military.
Yes, you're a competitive person by nature, and you move interested in artificial intelligence by coding AI for games. When your high school fielded a team for the local BattleBots competition, sponsored by the nearby defense contractor, you eagerly took up the challenge and won with an aggressive bot that would rear the enemy bot while it was still figuring out where it was. Continued to compete at the college level, +2 military.
Bang! I was like
it strikes you for a moment that this kind of thinking about your life affects how robots is second nature to you, though others might find it peculiar. You've always been fascinated by how every little detail of your life, from the content of your dreams to the decor of your room, changes the inputs to the robots you create, boost their empathy or autonomy or grace, or appeal to the military. Are those all the stats, I assume?
Yeah, those are all the stats: autonomy, military, and empathy. And every time, yeah, this is basically stats for your robot.
So these stats are for my robot, not me.
Yes.
Okay. So Ray, your robot is from Los Angeles because you're about to build its body. You pick up your laptop and head for the Stanford machine shop.
Yeah. Today, the robot fortress on your mind because think about to build its body. Pick up a laptop and heck, I already read that. Here we go. It's a beautiful day in Palo Alto, California. Palo Alto, California.
Palo Alto, you got it right the first time.
Yeah.
And your apartment is only a short walk from the machine shop. But the streets of Palo Alto are not designed for walking. You find yourself climbing around palm trees and bouncing on narrow curves as you do every day.
Yeah.
You hear a low roar overhead. Glancing up, you see it's a flying car, a Nimbus. A little over $300,000 can buy you a car with wings that fold out, so it becomes a small sports plane. The red Nimbus looks sleek and sporty. It's the sort of car it only takes religiously to the car wash. Though the commercials would have you believe it can fly anywhere you would want in those cars, the FAA still requires them to take off and land from airports. Only here in wealthy Silicon Valley do you see them with any frequency. The first time you saw one, you couldn't believe the future to arrive so quickly, but the second time you saw one, you thought,
Actually, something I want to say is I don't know when this game was made, but their predictions are kind of off. Because this is the year 2019, and we still don't have... it's like 2016, we don't have anything near flying cars.
yeah, because they're really impractical.
Yeah. But the second time you saw one, you thought, one of those one there.
I swear, if I ever meet that, when I was to help the world instead of buying that car. Why aren't those flying cars driving themselves? That one. Because we actually are closer to that than flying cars.
Yeah.
Occasionally you see a self-driving car on the roads of Palo Alto, but for some reason they still haven't caught on quite as much as one would expect it, despite having been around at least as long as the flying cars. You said it's because people don't trust self-driving cars enough. It's important to make your robot seem trustworthy. Intelligence alone doesn't instill trust, plus one empathy.
Yeah, it's kind of like motion controls in gaming. Those didn't catch on at all.
Nope.
Okay. Straight from university, fabrication shops.
Smells like oil and burnt plastic. The room is dominated by large metal crank-held milling machines and lathes, dinosaurs of the 20th century. While the most used machines are 3D printers and computer-controlled water jet cutters that take a quarter of the space. The lights have the sterile fluorescence of an operating room with only a single tiny window near the ceiling to inform you that it is day.
I guess. Oh no, yeah.
You set up a National Public Radio podcast on your laptop. You haven't seen your advisor much since you joined the lab, so you choose the episode in which he's the interviewee.
Hello. Okay, this is a woman's smooth voice. So, hello. No. My guest.
Hello. My guest today is Dr. Harvey Ziegler. Says a woman with a soothing voice. Dr. Ziegler, thank you for talking with us today. UB Ziegler.
Well, since I read farther in the game, Ziegler is actually this huge Hawaiian dude. It was this huge dude with a Hawaiian t-shirt and a cigar. And so I'm gonna give him my voice, my good voice. My guest today is Dr. Harvey's. No, wait, no, that's not the one I'm supposed to read. Well, a scientist does have some responsibility to inform the unwashed masses, Terry.
You let the podcast run as you walk over to the 3D printers. What material have you decided to use your robot? Plastic. It may break easily, but it's both lightweight and cheap. Metal is the most resistant to damage to wood. Wood is the most pleasing to the hand and eye. Yeah. I'm gonna go with
metal.
I feel like if I do metal, I'll get a lot of military, which means my robot will take over the world. So I'm gonna go with plastic.
Or wood.
Because wood's just the least practical choice.
To get frank, but if you want to make a more human-like robot, wood would be the most. If you want a robot you fall in love with, what would be the best?
Plastic.
Plastic, okay.
It's the most variable material.
Okay. Walk over to the 3D printer. We got a -1 military and a +1 wealth. Show stats. Wealth, getting by. Fame, who? Gender, female. Romance, none. Your robot, blah, 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 blah. Relationships, okay. Turn to game. So you walk over to a stack 3D printer cartridges, unwrapped one, and loaded the large
cylinder of meltable plastic into the printer. So that's how 3D printing works.
Yeah.
You often find yourself need to make little repairs to your robot yourself, and over time, the savings from plastic will start to add up. +1 wealth. Thermoplastics aren't the best when there's fire nearby, though. -1 military. Dr. Ziegler, in your new book, you talk about the singularity. Could you describe for our listeners what that is?
Terry, the singularity is the coming of time when the artificial intelligence will have figured out how to make themselves and us smarter. Once that happens, the process will build on itself until the robots are smart enough to figure out how they can live forever. Is that possible? If you ask, living forever? Of course.
Is that possible? Living forever?
Of course, Professor Ziegler says. What does it matter whether our operating systems are made out of meat or silicon?
So you're predicting we'll all become robots.
Not exactly. Ziegler says. But I do think the line between humanity and robot will blur.
Seems really cool.
Yeah.
Is it like a web-based thing that I can just go and chill out with on my own time, or is it an actual download that you have to get?
It's an actual thing you have to buy. It's like $5. Like there's this one that's a Western this is a Western one that is the biggest one they've made, and it's only $5, and it's a huge Western, and it's called Tin Star. It's a Western mystery novel, and it's got like 1 million words in it, and every time you play, you read 80,000 words. Exactly.
That's cool.
You're hardly listening to the podcast.
Because you're about to make your first robot part. What is the head of your robot?
Okay. Whenever I hear Ziegler, I think of the hungry caterpillar. Okay.
Have there been cartoons of that guy's books?
No, they have.
A human face, as like you make it a simple box with eyes. You're not trying to be anything with a robot. It will be felt covered and big-eyed like a puppet, so people will not be afraid of it.
I'll have a Ring camera, so its head is. And we're back. This is gonna stretch on for a long time. It will have a Ring camera, 360 degree. It will look like a Venti mask, beautiful, explosion, and otherworldly.
Hang on, I'm doing other things.
Oh.
Look away. Perfect.
You're doing other things?
Yeah, hang on.
Okay, I'm gonna pause.
I'm simultaneously managing 2 Skype conversations.
Oh, you're in a different Skype conversation?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause really quick. And we're back! Okay, so what kind of head are we gonna make it?
Venetian mask.
Venetian mask? Okay. We should totally go for we should totally go for like a an Ed. No, not Ed. We should totally go for what's his face? The dude from Full Metal Alchemist, the little kid.
Al?
Yeah, we should totally go for an Al.
Alphonse.
Alpha.
Alphonse.
Alfonso. Okay.
Close enough.
So yeah, the 3D printer quickly prints the face, the small nose,
The dainty mouth, the large black holes where CCD panels will absorb all light. It takes somewhat longer to add the intricate plastic frill that adds a corona to the mask. This is a robot that will command plus two grace, -1 empathy. Dr. Ziegler, what makes you think the singularity will happen now?
Well, for one thing, I'm around, but seriously, my lab is taking unique approach. Sorry about that. I was just choking on one of my cigars. Okay, my lab is taking a unique approach because we're saying, why not teach a robot like a child? We're going to equip the robot with the best sensors money can buy. And my throat hurts now. Great. Goodbye. Then it could rapidly teach itself using the internet. Kind of like Adam does, except for the internet, he doesn't use it to learn. Not in that sense, anyway.
I use it to learn anatomy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. He's actually a biology student? No.
Actually, yes.
Huh.
I actually am. I do have a biology class.
Yeah.
And technically, I am a biology student at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the text-based adventure game.
Well, that's annoying. Your advisor.
Well, that's annoying. Is that me or the
Yeah.
lady interviewing Ziegler?
That's nobody. It's our
It's
thoughts.
the narration.
Yes.
Well, that's annoying. Your advisor thought that a robot child was a stupid idea until you told him Turing proposed it back in 1950, minus the internet part. But he isn't giving credit to either of you. You keep working, regardless. How will your robot get around?
Okay.
I'm either thinking... Ooh, wings.
Upper walking, but it also have delicate wings. It
can use for balance.
Boom.
You stretch a polymer film between the plastic spokes of the wings and attach these to your robot's back. These wings will give your popular robot better balance, and in case it does begin to fall, they will act as a kind of parachute that will give it more time to recover, plus 2 grace. However, angels will not be known for being approachable, and your robot's appearance will set it apart from people, minus empathy. We're not getting much empathy. Is it possible to go negative into the stats?
We'll figure that out. Grace in beta.
Oh, this isn't finished?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
You use basic hand crank milling machines
to drill holes in the head for screws, since the 3D printers aren't the best for threaded holes. And who is going to raise this robotic child? The interviewer asks.
Who does all the grunt work in the research laboratory? Professor Ziegler says. The graduate students, of course. What?
You find yourself wanting to reply to the podcast. It's not grunt work. Education is critical to the robot development. We also do all the real science. Perhaps you could learn something to do. I'm gonna sass this guy.
Oh shit! Actually, one of the things I wanted to say is, if someone like forced a baby robot onto you as like your graduate student, in your final year, would you take it?
Yes, I've actually thought up a whole plot involving this very subject.
Yeah, I'd totally love to like take care of my little baby robot, and then I'd call him Poe, and he'd be a panda robot, and yeah, no.
When you said Poe, at first I thought of the handsome X-Wing pilot, and not the fat panda.
Perhaps you could learn something from doing a little grunt work yourself, Professor Ziegler. We also do all the real science.
I'm not sure I like him.
I think you'll learn sooner or later getting funded to do real science requires a certain amount of management and salesmanship.
That's Professor Ziegler. He appears to have entered the machine shop behind you when you weren't looking.
What?
Professor Ziegler is a heavy-set man wearing a Hawaiian shirt and aviator sunglasses. He stalks over to your computer. We'll be back in a moment, continues the interviewer. We're talking with Professor Ziegler pauses the podcast by hitting your laptop spacebar, and you flinch at this intrusion. Then he pulls a cigar from his pocket and he lights it, and the smell of smoke mingles with the oily smell of the machine shop.
I'm writing a grant for
DARPA.
DARPA.
I think that's a robot thing. Let me look it up.
For DARPA.
Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. That's a thing that has to do. That's a robot thing.
For DARPA, and I need to see what you're making. You're making back here. We ultimately get funded by Defense of
the Department of Defense.
The Department of Defense. So we have to make sure that
we had to make sure they're happy with our product.
We can't. He casts a critical eye on your work that you've done so far. This is the prototype, right? You're going to build the final thing out of metal.
Yes, sir, but I'm lying. No, the plastic parts are invented. Yeah. Okay, down the last one. I'm gonna just be as sassy as possible.
Because this guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
Well, hello, Professor Asshat. Can we name him that now?
Mr. Ruining Your Own Lungs.
Yeah. No, the plastic parts are
So is Ziegler, like... I assume you're...
Yeah. What? Okay. All the plastic parts are meant to make it easier to repair. I don't think the military should have a problem with that. This one?
Yeah, I'm gonna sass this guy into oblivion because I don't like it
Fine.
much.
I can see this. I can see that selling point.
Professor Ziegler turns to examine your robot's head, which is currently sitting on the table next to the 3D printer.
That seems alright, Ziegler says. Look, it could be
Looks like it could be sufficiently intimidating.
sufficiently intimidating. And what are you planning to do for the arms and hands, Professor Ziegler says.
T-Rex arms, Mega Man, mechanical grippers, Swiss Army knife, soft hands. I'm thinking either the Swiss Army thing, or the lots of arms.
What?
I'm thinking either Swiss Army knife hands or Inspector Gadget hands.
I'm actually kind of thinking more of the mechanical grippers, because think of it. We have this, like, kabuki, or what I'm thinking of, is you have this kabuki mask that's just looking at you in pure terror, and he pulls up one of his clamp arms, and he grabs you around the neck and just squeezes it. You can't tell me that wouldn't be awesome.
But the Swiss Army hands would be better for the aesthetic. Or
Popping out of the fingers, or why just have two arms, basically like Inspector Gadget.
Alright, yeah, let's go for Inspector Gadget.
I kind of think it's Swiss Army knife just because I wanted to look.
Alright, fine, Swiss Army knife.
Boom. I like it, Professor Ziegler says. It could repair other robots in the battlefield, or it could repair itself.
Right, it has a screwdriver finger, a lockpicking finger, a mini USB port finger. You decline to mention the bottle opener. So you think that could be popular with soldiers too, plus like military. Regardless, existence with a variety of different tools will provide you with more than just military robots. You wonder if you can make a surgical robot with the same design. Plus 2 grace. Fine, Ziegler says, but maybe with further explanation. Carry on then.
Carry on
He
then.
turns to leave. I've also got to take a call from the New York Times reporter. Wait, no, that's you. Sorry.
I've got to take a call from the New York Times reporter. Fun how journalists all copy each other. All copy each other's stories, but each garble the message in a unique way. That's not different from how news is now.
Oh, shit.
Back, I think,
Alright, when you made a robot with a kabuki mask, wings, and Swiss Army knife.
yeah, they
fingers.
saw that. It just stopped recording, and I didn't realize. But we're talking to
What
Ziegler.
did they miss anything?
I think he might. We're talking to Ziegler. We gave him Swiss Army knife hand. We gave the robot Swiss Army knife hands, and we're going. And he's talking about journalism, and we're actually gonna leave the episode off here because we've now encroached on our 30-minute mark. So
Okay.
see you guys later. Goodbye.